We live on Instagram. We got some good sound over there. Coming through here. Hello?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the headset.
I don't got one on.
Yeah.
How you doing, Facebook, Instagram?
Hold on, let me, what is going on? Nah, we good.
If you need to hear yourself, you can put those on, but I speak loud.
I'm good.
He'll let us know if you peeking or something.
3, 2, 1.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Instagram and Facebook? This is Coach Derek, and I'm here with my co-host Manny Fresh.
What it do?
We got a special guest in here this evening, or this morning.
This morning, yeah. It's Saturday morning. Good morning, everyone. We have Juan Escutia, owner and founder of Pueblo Boxing. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
No, thank you for having us.
I wanted to reach out to this guy, and I know he's busy just from watching from the outside. But the first season, I wanted to get him in here, and so when Coach Hyman made that message, I said, yeah, man, yeah, let's let him come in, man.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Hyman Martinez for getting it together.
Yeah, I first became aware of Juan in 2008 when I opened a gym, and I called it the Shamrock Boxing Club in Stafford, right around the corner from the old Mo City boxing gym, not far. And he sent me a care package in the mail. I said, man, who's this guy? This guy is all right. And then I see him at every show, all the big tournaments. Would you say consistency is your maneuver?
Absolutely. Everything from the way I dress to how I operate.
Consistency, man. I gotta say he's got to be one of the most consistent guys in boxing here in Houston. But I know you're all over the world. Huh?
Concentrated in Texas as far as shows, but now with the gyms, we've expanded to other countries. So,
how long have you been in business?
I started in 2001. In 2001, yes, sir. 20 years, yes,
wow.
sir.
Let's get a little history for Pueblo, man. What started the whole thing? 2000, 2001.
2000. I met Francisco Leal. He's I think the ABO representative right now out of Aslan Promotions.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. So I met him at a car wash.
Okay.
And he asked me what I do. I asked him what he does, and he says I have a boxing gym where we don't charge children anything, and we're looking for sponsors. And at that time, I think I had like 5 dry cleaners. That was my business. I was in the dry cleaning business.
Okay.
And
but were you already involved in boxing?
At all? No. Ever since I was a kid, and as a kid, I trained at Kenny Weldon's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was my background. But when he said we have a gym and we don't charge children anything, like that struck a nerve with me, and I said, hey man, I'm down with that. So I just started helping them out, 150, 250, and sponsoring the kids. Yeah,
right.
And that's where I met Bobby Flores. He was the head coach there.
That's Coach Hyman's head guy. I mean, under Walt and Bobby put him through the paces.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's big. He talks a lot about Bobby.
No, Bobby.
I remember Bobby. He passed away, right?
Yes, sir.
I remember. Big fella.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember.
And so I just started sponsoring them, and bro, I just loved it. I knew that's what I was. What made me happy. So what makes you happy is what I feel like what you're meant to do. And I did that for a little bit, and I didn't understand the business, but they go, we got to start charging something, and I wasn't. Now later I understand, it's business, it's what you got to do to keep the doors open. But at that time I'm like, I'm writing these checks for it to be free.
Right.
I'm not going to keep writing checks, and we're going to charge.
Right.
So I decided with Bobby to go do our own thing. See, but Bobby wanted to, he really wanted to have his own gym. So when that clicked in his head, he's like, no, I can't do it. And I was like, Bobby, I already bought all this equipment. I put this big old down payment.
Oh yeah, y'all was going.
Yeah.
The plan was there, and then he hit the brakes at the last, at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad he did, because he's the one that actually said, you know what, we're brothers, we're friends, but I got to do this on my own. And I felt that it wasn't a personal thing. And he goes, but you know, there's these two brothers that are training kids out of their backyard. Maybe you should reach out to them. You know, that was Oscar and Rudy Silva. So I said, you know what? Hey, I'm up against the wall. I got no choice. Let me reach out.
You need coaches,
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I knew from just hanging around with him, I knew that I could deal with the beginners, and that was my job. And but I needed someone that was going to get them ready for competition. And so I reached out to Rudy, and they jumped right on board because I'm like, look, we're not going to charge nothing. I'm paying the rent. I'm going to look for more sponsors, and we're going to, you know, figure this thing out.
And like just by happenstance, Rudy's background was Kenny Weldon as well, right?
Or Munoz. That's another individual.
Okay.
Yeah. And see, but my background in boxing, you know, that was in Galena Park. I'm from Jacinto City.
Okay.
And there's a little highway that divides where you really can't be walking down that, you know. It's just not meant for walking.
Right.
And so I only did it for a little bit because everybody in the neighborhood was going there just to learn enough to, because we would have these little sparring sessions. And I would do great with the guys that were, you know, throwing wild like myself. But then there was these individuals that were just throwing these punches straight down the middle. I couldn't deal with them. Like, what's going on? He goes, no, they're all training like that.
They train fighters.
How old were you at this time?
I'm probably like 12, 13.
Oh, okay.
And you got to understand, like, my mom didn't put me in the sport. So, like, I had to go cut grass, get my little... I mean, they weren't charging much. I can't even remember what they were charging. It wasn't much.
But it was still you.
Yeah.
It was your responsibility.
I had to go pay it. And I said, man, I'm just going to be there like 2-3 months, learn some basics just to defend myself in the, you know, neighborhood brawls that we have. There was a karate school down the street, so that was a lot easier. You know, I could just go right here. Right. End of the day, all we want to do is defend ourselves. But back to when we opened up that gym, I learned the hard way because now I'm paying $2,500 rent. And I'm like, man... You know,
and there's no money coming in because you want it.
Bro, we're out there selling water, car washes, barbecues.
To keep the gym open.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine some people have a little 500. This is 2,500. It was 10,000 square feet. And so
that's a big gym.
It was a huge gym. And so that's my mentality. My mentality was...
How old are you around this time?
I would say 23, 24. Yes,
and you still have the 5 other businesses, right?
No, I slowly started going through them.
Oh, okay.
I went through a divorce. I'm losing money. Money's running out real fast.
Really on your back.
Yep. And so we were blessed. We were blessed with this individual, Sergio Medina and John Portillo, who just stepped in, bro.
Jay?
Yeah, John Jay.
He's JJ
for Precinct 3.
Precinct 3?
Yep.
Shout out to Jay.
Bro.
What's his Jay
Portillo. But JP Cares.
JP Cares.
Yep.
That's right. JP Cares.
Bro, before I even opened the doors, the city came in and said I had to put this 3-hour firewall. I'm like, I'm running out of cash, and it's 75 feet long, 22 feet tall. That's a lot of sheetrock.
Yeah.
And I told him, and I've been knowing him for a minute, and he goes, "Don't worry about it. I got you." And he put the wall, he put all the finishing touches.
He's always been like that, huh?
Yeah, bro. He's always been a good dude. So I can't complain. Things happen. They want to change the name of the gym. And I said...
What was the name of this?
Pueblo.
Where did Pueblo, where did that come from?
It comes from the people.
Yes.
The People's Boxing Gym.
That's what that means?
Yes,
Pueblo?
sir. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it even more now.
Yeah. See, because...
I thought it was a place.
No. Well, Pueblo, Colorado...
Yeah,
you know,
there's a lot of
but I'm sure it means the people over there too, though, right?
Yeah, for me it was.
Man, I like that, the people.
What is the translation in the actual translation into English? Pueblo, like
town, right?
Right, town.
Pero,
Pueblo is like community.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
dude, I never knew that, bro.
Yeah. Bro,
that's my move right there. I like that. That's
and you know what's crazy? I wish I could tell you, man. 20 years ago, I had this vision. Nah, I just knew it had to be the people's boxing gym because it had to be bigger than myself. A lot of people put their name on the gym. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I wanted something.
You didn't want to make it about you.
No, I wanted something bigger than me, way bigger than me.
Ah, that works, bro.
20 years later, I was like, damn, that was the perfect name because with all the countries,
it is.
You know,
yeah.
so
I didn't realize that. I guess I took it, and not speaking Spanish, I figured it was just a place. Because, like you said, the only thing I ever heard of was Pueblo, Colorado, or whatever. Yeah. But the people's boxing, I like that name. Man, that's nice. So some people wanted to change. Was it the coaches wanted to change the gym name or?
Well, Portico was putting all the money up.
Who?
John Portillo.
Oh, the guy with the firewall. Okay.
He was putting all the money up, and I could understand his position. He wanted to get as much publicity, maybe for.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And look at him; he's running for office.
Right.
So he's trying to make a change.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if it's bigger than me, it's bigger than a company. So that's not gonna fly. One of the little persons that came in there, bro. You know, we had hundreds of children that were. It's free. So you could imagine, I mean, people were dropping off their kids like it was daycare.
I think I know who you about to say because I heard it. Yeah. I heard it in her episode.
right. It was Marlena Esparza. She walked in, and it was crazy because that was like my calling card. I'm like, we don't know who's gonna walk in that door. We could have the next Olympian. We could have this.
And like she said, Rudy and them didn't really want to fool with her. She's a girl,
right? She was in my line.
Girls, right? There was no girls boxing really,
right?
To speak of.
Yeah, and so.
Deep rooted, man, this guy.
Oscar's actually the brother, Rudy's brother, was the one that actually seen her.
She said that.
Oh,
Oscar had her. She said Rudy's brother trained me, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Until he got to the point where he said, "Man, I can't really, Rudy, you got to take over more." Yeah, she gave you props. She gave Oscar props. Yeah, she said that on the episode.
Yes, sir.
So, so your benefactor basically, or who was helping, wanted a name change, and that really crossed with the vision though, right?
Right, absolutely.
And that's a real thing.
Yeah, and but what's crazy is that
he wanted to change my boxing team to Man and Fresh Pugilists.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't let him do it. No, I know what you're saying.
But you have little differences or whatever. But I mean, I went back through emails. And I was like, dang, not even 2 years later, we were working together again on some T-shirts, on something. So, you make peace with people. Like Rudy, I never really even had an issue with him, but I see him at the shows. I wasn't really worried about him. I was sponsoring his children. I give him a T-shirt. His son won, pick anything you want.
Bigger than that, bro.
Yeah, always.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah. And when you find people that really love what you love, that's where I
common.
Yeah, bro. And I connect on that. I don't focus on the things that we have in common,
So did you and what's my man's name? Jay. So y'all parted ways up at the gym?
Definitely. I don't even know how long it lasted, but I mean, I had bought all the equipment. So the day I decided I'm jumping ship, I take everything with me. Only thing I left was a boxing ring, which was one of the coaches.
Right. Which was there.
Yeah. So I took all my equipment.
I had a scenario like that. I know exactly what you're talking about. You brought in, you take what you brought out, right?
Yeah, that's it. I went over to Second Ward at 2003-ish and just started over. But I started in a small space, little, 1,200 square feet.
Much smaller.
Yep. Had a little dry cleaners right next to it that was supposed to be paying for the rent, supposed to be.
Right.
And but we were still out there every weekend, bro. Every weekend. And so, I hear comments that, it's all about money. I'm like, okay, it's all about money. I'm over here about to file bankruptcy.
You know who says that, right?
Yeah.
People who
they don't
have no idea what it takes to try to be successful. Not be successful, trying to be successful, man. They it's all about the money. There's no money in boxing, people.
Absolutely none.
Until you get to the very peak, and there's only a handful of people. You guys will be surprised how many world champions ain't making enough money to retire. World champions, they got to keep fighting. They need their next fight. So those Mayweathers and Cottos and all that type of stuff, man, that's what we all hunting for. We all want to put out a guy that big, but it's all business, man. Everybody, and everything that comes with it. And this is one sport where you can't even get. It's hard to get sponsorships, man.
Oh yeah.
You can go to, which is sad because in my father's day he used to tell me about. My dad fought amateur in the service in the 40s. Right, Joe Lewis was king. That was his guy. In turn, my guy too. And he said when I was a kid, you knew who the World Series baseball players was, and their hero was the heavyweight champion of the world. The heavyweight champion of the world was king of sports. My dad was young. There was no NFL. You know, there was none of that. You had baseball and you had boxing, and that's all you had, man. And so all through the years, and then I was born in the 70s, and him watching boxing, and him saying, yeah, but you know, Dempsey and what you call them had $1 million gate when it was $2. You know, to get in the thing, you had so many people coming to the. So the sport wise is probably at the, would you say, the peak as far as revenue and outlets with all these apps and everything, but it's still not. You know, I listen to the kids talking about LeBron James and all these guys who deserve the accolades, man. But there was a time when the King was a heavyweight champion of the world, middleweight champion of the world. You know, when we was kids, I don't know how old you are, Juan, but
I'm 42.
We the same age. And when we was kids, man, Ray Leonard was the man in sports.
Oh yeah,
the man in sports. You know. Tyson, I heard Tyson say one time, he said, man, I was 19 years old, heavyweight champion of the world. I met my hero, my sports hero, Magic Johnson, and he's telling me how great I am. How the hell am I supposed to be able to handle that? I see Magic Johnson, I'm like, God, you know, and this guy is falling all over himself. But you know what? That's when the heavyweight champ was the king of sports, right? So people think you're making money because you're on TV with a fighter or something like that, man. And actually, you got so much money invested, you're not even climbing out the hole yet, man. So I could imagine feeling that, oh, it's about the money. Yeah. Oh, that can be, I'm sure that can be frustrating if you don't turn it off.
Right.
You got to turn those people off.
Yeah. Well, you live and you learn. And, you know, I got tired. I got tired of going out there on that corner doing these car washes. And I told the children, I go, you know what? Look, if y'all each just pay $20, we ain't gotta ask nobody for nothing. Oh no, coach, I'm hurting, and I'm like, man, your mom drives a better car than I do. How you hurting? And I said, you know what? I said, I'm gonna go get me another job, and I'm gonna pay the rent. But y'all not gonna get nothing for free. So I made me a list. Y'all gonna cut my grass, wash my truck, like
1,000%.
All these things that they had to do. And if you're not gonna show up on Saturday to do these things, on Monday morning, Monday afternoon, I want my money. Yeah. I made a big old list because I'm saying I'm gonna have a full gym of kids in here. Not one showed up. Every last one had my $20, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't start charging like way back when. I didn't have to go through it. But you know what it was? That decision was tied up with my ego from the very moment that I decided to do the first gym, because I left that gym because they were going to charge. Right. So how am I going to charge when I said that was the reason why I left? And I didn't even realize that till like maybe a year ago when I started thinking back on it. So
I think it was that philosopher, Superman and ego, Nietzsche, talking about the ego. If man doesn't put that, basically, I'm watering it way down. Man's ego is a motherfucker. That's basically what it is. And it is. And so you could have caused yourself a lot less stress and still be the cheapest thing in town. Yeah. And you know who taught you? The guys you was trying to help the most showed you that any kids, so don't take it hard, kids. But y'all some entitled little suckers and before cutting your grass, I just pay them the $20. Yeah, because you win your $20 to goof off at school while coach is busting his back in here keeping the doors open. So you really wasn't doing them a favor.
Right.
They need to pay.
Yeah.
Let their mother deal with the issue if she don't want to make them work.
Yeah. And you know, years later, you find that there is people that can't pay.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
And those are the ones you help. I had this one little girl, man. She was cleaning the gym at this community center where I was years later. She was cleaning the gym. I'm like, dang, she must have a lot of community hours. So I said, what did you do? I didn't do nothing. I said, you in here every day before we start and after we leave cleaning, you did something. She goes, no, I made a deal with the director and I clean and I don't have to pay gym dues. I said, no. So shirt, boots, trunks, gloves, whatever.
That's a winner right there.
Yeah. Another one comes in, oh man, I'm on a fixed income, sir, and this, that, and the other. I said, don't worry about it. Mop and sweep this gym. It's 7,500 square feet, my new gym. That'll take care of your gym dues. Let me talk to my grandma. Maybe we can pay that. I'm like, wow. So you have to test them. You have to put a little test in there.
And guess what? Every age, the grown men to the kids to everybody, man. They always, you know, it's a culture thing, man. You don't know where they come from, and what I mean, We all have personal culture. We all have religious cultures. We all have, but you also have monetary culture. That's why poor people stay poor, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that I ain't got it. That's a culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's a culture. You never got it till something you have to buy and you want to buy. You want me to want you.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't come to you. You came to me.
I seen something the other day on the internet said you'll never see a crackhead say, I want some crack, but I don't have $20.
Never. That's a driven force to get that rock.
They're
right.
gonna do whatever they gotta do to get the $20.
And how's it? Is that girl still around? The one you're talking about?
No, she's gone, married. Had some children.
Is she living a productive life?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that it proved, and she showed you as a kid though.
Right.
She was gonna be productive. Now, whether you think marrying the kids and family is productive, that's regardless. To her, that might be what she wants and knows. But those things, man, it's funny to watch these guys, man. That's why I don't take the coach. You asked me how many fights. I got 2 pro fighters, but I got about 10 on the team. We got about 30 people in the gym, but about 10 amateur fighters. But your lip service ain't shit, man. Telling me you gonna do it, coach, you gonna see. I'm gonna show you. Sure you gonna show me, son. Sure you gonna show me, but you can't show me the dudes. See, I learned years ago, the dudes ain't shit. If you come to me and say, coach, I'm hurting, we'll figure it out. But if you're hurting every month, what's the common denominator here? So what it takes to be successful in fighting, from at least my point of view, if you can't whoop this whatever every month, you certainly ain't gonna whoop it when it becomes a uphill climb in this ring. And this motherfucker punch you, it's gonna be easy for you to take a knee and quit, or pretend you hurt, or convince yourself you hurt. You might not be pretending, but that shot just, you convince yourself it was too much to bear, because this is too much to bear. So, I learned years ago about the money thing as far as the boxing goes, that no, let's use it as a litmus test. Let's use it as that. If you, no, I'm not the cheapest thing on the block, good. That's weeding out the bullshit, and then let's see if you can keep up. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what you was doing. You was finding that out on the membership scale, because you gonna see even kids, man, that you care about. You'll love them and stuff, but they won't value what you're doing for them.
Right.
And it can't, because they don't know how to value it. They wasn't taught to value things, or they could just be little snot nose getting over kids. You never know. You never know, man. So I understand exactly what you're saying. So you went from the first gym. What area was the first gym?
Pasadena.
Then you went to where's
Second Ward.
Pasadena, they got a big boxing. People love boxing.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Hispanics out there.
Yeah, right here. I'm talking about Pasadena, Texas.
Texas,
Yeah, Kenny Weldon. That was his little stuff.
That's that whole area.
Yeah,
right?
Galena Park, all that.
Where's Second Ward? What is that?
Next to Magnolia, East End, right next to downtown.
Okay.
That's the new Edo.
Exactly.
The new
Edo.
what?
EADO, East End.
It's been what's that word?
Gentrified.
Oh, like they did in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So all the projects down there.
Oh yeah, now it's expensive.
Yeah, man, that's great. Everything's condos and stuff. So you move to Second Ward, figured out you need to charge these kids, because if nothing else, it keeps them honest.
Right.
Weeds out the.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I had like every young coach, because I've been in it 20 years, so you see the young coaches come in, they think they're gonna do something so so different, so special.
They gonna reinvent the wheel.
Right. I was just like that. So of course, when you do that, you get the old heads, Kenny Weldon, Walt Haley. I had them on my back. I got suspended. I was doing the sparring shows. I would go set up a ring in front of Fiesta. Fiesta would pay me $500 to do a little session. We'd have our T-shirts, we'd have our keychains. They didn't like that, so that's when they started coming up with all the rules. You can't do this, you can't do that.
Oh.
So I got suspended for a year, but I always had an assistant. I always had
From being able to take part
in anything.
Personally.
I couldn't wrap up hands. I couldn't, and I was so broke, and I just didn't really care. Because that was never my thing. My thing was never, I wasn't trying to produce champions. I was trying to just make an impact. And I knew that just having them kids in my gym was having an impact. But I had other people, I had other coaches that helped me along the way, and they would take them to the competition. And I was good at making friends, so they would take them up on the ring and have them participate and whatnot. And so I just found a way around that whole situation.
Right.
They go, you can't charge at a sparring show unless, I said, well, can I charge a membership? Oh yeah, you can charge them whatever you want. All right, cool. A one-day membership is $10 to come in my gym.
Boom.
Yeah. So
boom.
Yeah. And I don't know who it was. Somebody showed up and said, "I don't want to be a member." Then it's members only. So you can't come in the gym.
Right.
So you find ways around it, and
Did you get a lot of slack from?
oh yeah, you got to when you.
But it lasted.
Yeah. But my mindset was like, I literally thought, why do they hate me so much? Like, well, what's the problem? And I said, well, I'm gonna make them love me, and that's where that mindset comes of sponsoring, care package, understanding where they're coming from. Because I'm a gym owner, so I understand their struggles because they're living them just like I am.
Right.
Can't pay their rent, moving from one spot to another spot. So
the sparring events you was doing, the reason why you wasn't doing shows as opposed to sparring events was because it was basically for fundraising, right?
Right. It was sanctions, the trophies.
You was trying to do the fundraising.
Right.
Okay, so they would find a way to cut in your fundraising.
Right.
They wanted their piece,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a mob move.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I got you. I understand.
And but it's that mentality, right, of always trying to find a way that leads me to where I'm at right now. From starting with keychains, and I said, okay, well, what else? I think when I first met you back in 2008, bro, they had on the wall, they had like some little things, and I just started hanging up stuff. But I mean, I had a 2-foot table in a corner, and now you go to my
You got a whole
section.
Yeah.
You got a section.
It's like, hey man, you gotta have at least 20 feet for us, because this ain't 2008. We don't got that.
I need some space.
Yeah,
I got some goods.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation a couple days ago. We were talking about that mentality that you have. Being, an entrepreneur. To me, there's three different types of entrepreneurs. There's the one to work for themselves. They have, they have a job where they can clock in, clock out, whatever. They're like subcontractors. Mm-hmm. Then you have a small business owner. Small business owner usually has a storefront, and they're very dependent on the market. If the market's bad, they feel pressure.
Mm-hmm.
If people aren't spending money, they start to get worried. And then there's an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur doesn't give a shit what's going on in the market. If the market's bad, they're going to find other avenues. They just always find a way. So to me, you started off, well, I don't know where you started off, but you said before you were doing the gym, you were doing dry cleaning. Mm-hmm. You leveraged that to support the boxing for a while. Mm-hmm. And then you started feeling, pressure from the community, and you just continue to find a way around that. What was the motivation that kept you going? Because I'm sure as you're going through all this, you're like, fuck, you're having these your thoughts, and like, why do they hate me?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing? Should I go back to dry cleaning?
Oh hell no, never.
Yeah.
I mean, I still did dry cleaning.
Yeah.
To this day, I not too long ago, I still had a dry cleaners, but business that's just life, and when you love something, you figure out a way to maintain it and support it. And once I knew that this was my fix, that this is what I love, ain't nothing gonna stop me,
Man, something. And normally every guest I have on here, we say beforehand, is there anything you don't want to talk about? Because I don't want to talk about it. And you don't gotta get too personal, but did you come from a platonic home, mother and father?
My father passed away when I was 7.
Okay.
So
was he? But he was in your life till 7.
Yeah, yes sir.
Was he a businessman, a worker? But I'm trying to see where the drive came.
That's
from.
my mom.
Your mother?
Yeah, she's always been
driven.
From tamales to anything.
You know what?
What we call a hustler in the streets. You gotta get it.
I don't know if there's a misconception or not. But who's the hardest working family member in the Mexican family?
Oh, the mother.
The mother.
I don't know if this is Forrest. I don't know if this is Forrest or the Dutchman. But he said Juan wouldn't give me gas money last night. Forrest always pull him off and tell me how he losing on these shows. And I'm sure he's, they put on hell of a show, man. So I'm sure they all lose money. Yeah. But he put a woe is me face on it.
I gave it to his partner.
Hey, he said he gave, whatever one you are, he gave it to the other one.
Right, exactly.
Check his pockets for your 50%.
I think Joe's watching on Facebook, and Joe, we finally got internet in here, so the video and audio should be.
No thanks to the next fight up. They were supposed to come through with some internet, man. I wasn't able to make the show, and I
Those are good fights, though, man.
But I did. I was able to watch it on live, and I'm gonna cover a few of y'all fights, man, that I've seen. Great fights, action fights, man. But
it looked like it was a good turnout.
not to we'll get to that. But I was curious about that, bro, because that drive to not lose. You didn't want to lose.
Right.
You didn't want. I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
You know, every time you find a way around it. And to me, I know with fighting, what I was brought up on, and I tell a guy, I said, listen, man, there's a back door, there's a side door, there's a couple windows right here. Maybe you need to act like you're going through this door so we can get through the side window, you know. And it's theoretically, and of course there's systematic ways to do all this shit, but it's the theory of, if I allow you to block me, it's like I tell my fighters, and man is one of my fighters, he'll tell you, if this guy is better than you, so what, you just lose?
Right.
So he's faster than you, and so now you can't win?
Right.
Because if that's your answer, well, then this really ain't a science. This is just an athletic competition, and whoever's the fastest guy wins.
Being an entrepreneur and being in boxing, I think, are one of the two biggest things that can correlate. Because for me, boxing and being a true entrepreneur, it's the same shit. You get in the ring to box, you get in the ring to be an entrepreneur. There's no way you can be in a fight, let alone a great fight, let alone win a great fight without getting punched in the face a couple times and getting hurt a couple times. Same thing being an entrepreneur. There's no way you're going to be in the game, be part of a great game, and win in the fight of being an entrepreneur without facing adversity, getting punched in the face, going back to the corner, going back home, being like, fuck.
I told the kid one time, I said, son, you're going to get hit in the mouth. You got to hit him in the mouth the best. Okay, coach, I got, I thought it was so messed up, but I get the point across, you're going to get hit a fist fight. You're not supposed to let him hit you right? Be it rolling, catching, whatever. And he's different keys open different, Robert, love him to death. He's one of the smartest intellectual fighters I've ever had in 22 years.
Robert the Hitman.
Really? He was a hitman. But I say, son, this is your body's got to work with your mind, and your body's not a brain. You got to train that to work with your mind. So even though you understand what I'm telling you, don't mean you're gonna go out there and just fucking do it. Because your mind's saying do something. I say it's like fatigue. Your mind's saying do something that your body can't respond. I say, so just because you understand what I'm saying has nothing to do with being able to do it. You right, coach, you right. Because there's been things, the light bulb clicks. I'm like, son, I've been working with you for months on this here, and now because I said it different, now you can fully understand. Now you can do it.
Sometimes to get that screw. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, man. But I like to say that if this guy's faster than you, I like to use speed because I always hear speed what you need. Speed is power. Speed is that's like go-to shit. Well, I know how to beat speed. So there's an answer to every equation, and the thing is, with the right fight. But if every time this guy put up a roadblock, and your answer is athleticism, he's just faster than you, or he's stronger than you, or punches harder than you, well, this shit ain't really a science then. It's just a track meet, right? I have no belief this ain't a track meet.
Right.
This is a real skilled sport. So if every time Juan did something and they threw up a brick wall, and he said, well, the brick wall is there, well, it was a good go. I gave him 8 years of my life. Then we go back to the cleaners.
Nah.
You wouldn't be here 20-something years later, right? Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely.
And so those were roadblocks that.
And you're gonna face them. And you're going to face it. There ain't no...
I didn't mean to touch y'all.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I think it's those obstacles that really make it more rewarding. Because if I just had a straight shot to the top, it's like maybe I wouldn't. Like, man, sometimes I just reminisce on some of the things that I went
Be
through.
like them kids with the free gym.
Exactly.
Right.
You know. So
When did the brand really start taking off? Because the brand is really becoming.
Come out of my element. Yeah, I like to listen to all this stuff.
Because
Yeah,
he's got stuff all over the world.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's got world champions wearing his stuff, and
I'm very incompetent to the brand stuff. I don't understand it and stuff, but I understand the importance of it. And when I see, one of my favorite fighters, active fighters in the world, got Pueblo, Mikey.
Oh yeah.
I done seen him, Mikey Garcia.
Yeah,
I done seen him in Pueblo boxing stuff, man. So yeah. When did the brand really? When did you find your stroke?
Or when did you say, okay, I'm gonna because that's a conscious decision.
Right.
That doesn't happen by accident.
Right.
Did you? When was that aha moment when you said, you know what, I want to? Because there's a brain and there's a gym. Right. And
did you treat them separate?
Absolutely. So when I started, what I did was I had a separate company, and I still do. Mm-hmm. It's called Solo Boxing. And I named it Solo Boxing because I was by myself.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember Solo Boxing.
Mm-hmm. The gloves, everything. So why I did
that was on some of the stuff.
That's Solo Book Self.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And so I did it that way. Why? Because they were hating on Pueblo. So I said, okay.
I'm with the Pueblo. I like Pueblo. I like that name. Right?
I said, I'm gonna create this one because I understood that I only have 20, 30 kids.
Right.
I want something way bigger than just 20, 30 kids buying this product. Right. I wanted everybody to buy it. So the first conscious move was creating a separate company, and they started buying that. I started going to the shows. I understand that I had, like, for example, a Pueblo keychain. They don't want a Pueblo keychain. They want the Texans. They want the Cowboys. They want Mexico flag, USA flag. But I'm the brand. So what I did was sponsor. I don't even know that I'm doing this because I'm just doing what's in the heart. I'm helping. Next thing you know, people start respecting the brand. Right. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just put up one shirt. Now we put up 2 shirts. Start Mikey Garcia. There's no sponsorship there. All we did was he was doing a toy run collection, and we sent him like 200 little string backpacks so the children could put their toys in. Just planted that seed.
And I'm sure he appreciates it.
Oh, yeah.
Who is this people trying to help me help you?
For sure.
Right.
Then my brother Joe that helps me at the shows, seen him in San Antonio, and he goes, hey, Mike, can we give you this shirt? Oh, yeah, I know who Pueblo Boxing is. Registered about the backpacks. Send him a jacket, throws it on. So...
But now it's fly as fuck. Like they sexy. The jackets are sexy as hell.
Well, because it comes from a boxing like what would I want?
Do you design this stuff?
Yeah, everything.
You design?
Yes, sir. Yeah. And just when I started traveling and I'd go into the gift shops and I started thinking about my friends, my family, what they would like. So I'm like, man, why don't we have they have magnets? Why don't we have magnets in boxing? So I started making magnets. The jacket was a jacket that I seen for the NBA, and I'm like, man, that's fly with all the pictures. Let's just convert it. So I just convert things over to boxing and do something for us because we got this little niche community where the big dogs are like, man, there ain't no money in that. Not depending.
Not directly.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find a way to make your money around.
It's boxing is very a niche market, but and correct me if I'm wrong here, but passionate. If you're in the niche, you're passionate about it. If something catches on fire, they want in.
Right.
They want in because boxing is my thing.
Yeah.
Boxing is, I love the Celtics just because it's the Celtics, right? Players come and go. But when we was kids, players didn't come and go. They went and played for a team, and that was the legacy of the team. So I tell people now, I buy a Celtics jersey. Sure, I like the Bird jersey in the old school, but, Lil Zeke, he comes and goes. I'm waiting for the next one. I'm a Celtics. That's a brand loyalty, right? Is that what you're talking about? Brand, right? So boxing is very niche. If you like boxing, and boxing's your thing, man, you all the way in, man, and you get the shirts and jackets with all the champs. you know, those guys know who those guys are. Even the newcomers, man. Even the guys who, like you said, the coaches that get the videotapes and think they can coach now. Even those guys, though, they all the way in.
Yeah.
They all the way in, and you can watch them evolve from 2-year coaches to 5-year coaches, and their mind you can see their mind expanded because they learn things that you know, and you're saying, now you understand. It ain't that bullshit, man. You got to learn it. Sadly, you got all these kids beat up while you was trying to figure that out.
Right.
And you got a guy like Coach Derrick who calls you out on the shit. And I will. But the thing is, very passionate, whether they newcomers, whether they old heads, know the history, learning the history. And it's hard. I think that brand thing, that's why I don't understand. I guess I do understand it. I do.
You know, I mean, when I start talking to coaches, you know, we just connect because I've been what they've been through. You know, I lived in my gym for a year. You know, when I had a choice, an apartment or a gym. And I'm like, man, I'm just sleeping there. I could sleep in the gym. I go to my mom's, take a shower. I'm not going to stay there because I'm a man and I can't, be living at mom's. But for a year, I slept in the gym. And I understand that struggle. So when you know that struggle with coaches, man, it's like night and day. And that's what you see at the shows. I start talking to a coach, and his children, his fighters, are over there looking. They're like, oh, he's cool with my coach. Next thing you know, the whole family's coming. So I don't even need an individual coach to make a purchase.
Right.
They see that connection between us, and then all the family's going to come, And I mean, I'm coming from, when you look at, when your interest is really the children, and you don't really care what team they're with,
Right.
Now you're just a true fan. And it's like, I can't, like, now I watch fights and it's like, who you going for? And it's like, man, I used to just go straight hardcore just for the Mexican.
Right.
But it's like, I know that other fighter struggled just as much as he did.
Right.
He sacrificed as much as he did. So now it's just like, may the best man win.
Right.
And so I'm like, damn, man, maybe I should become a judge now. But nah, I got to tend to my table.
You talked about some of the obstacles that you face. Who has been some big supporters to this day when you can turn to for advice if you need it? Because all the stuff that you're talking about, that's knowledge, right? That's whether it's in school, like a book form, or a mentor, or experience. Where did they come from in your situation? Did you have someone along the way, or
I've had so many, bro.
Yeah.
I had so many, and I don't want to, take away from one by giving to the other or anything like that. But I had a lot of mentors, and I think the key for me was I never stopped being grateful. We might have our differences, but like me and Francisco, the first person I started the gym with, man, now we're like brothers, and especially when it hit me, like, dang, man. But I had to go through all that. Right. If I didn't learn on my own that you had to charge something, then, you would
have never did it.
Right. And grew as a person. So now I see him at the shows, and it's all love, and I've set up at his shows, So no, I mean, now it's like, Gary Vee, and I learned from a lot of people.
Have you been turned on to Gary Vee yet?
Wow. Yeah, no.
Who was that?
Wow.
He's an entrepreneur, but he
I'm not an entrepreneur.
Think about me at
I should be, but
think about what I do at 1,000% scale.
Yeah. He's a like one of the motivation dudes or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know who that is.
He does it at 1,000% scale of what I try to do.
I've gotten so much from him, bro.
Yeah,
I think one of the main things is that he just turned me on to some things that I had going on internally.
Yeah.
So the way he worded it. So, for example, like, this has been my uniform for as long as you've known me.
Which has been 11 years now. And I, because I'm not a Houstonian, but 11 years,
And so it's always been, I'm in this uniform because I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm not trying to be better than anybody. This is what I live. This is what I am 24/7. This is my life. I'm not worried about a big house. I'm not worried about a fancy car. My cars are paid for. I do what I love. And I understand that a lot of people have to go to a job that they hate, and are miserable.
And money ain't a big paycheck. They miserable as shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I get to, man, travel all over the world, open up gyms, do what I love, And so, bro, it's like that in and of itself. Sometimes somebody has to. You're already living it, but the way they said it makes you realize it. And I'm like, damn, man. So right now, bro, it's like
being grateful.
Yeah, I could get hit by a car, driving out of here, but I lived every moment the way I wanted to live. I did it my way. Yeah. So
is man, you got a lot of products, man, and what's always, it seems to be quality products, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and there was several shit I wanted to get. Now I might don't have the money on me or something, but is your stuff made here or made out of Mexico?
I was going to ask that too.
The majority is made out of Mexico, out of where I'm from, out of Guanajuato.
Which part is it?
This is like central.
Central.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours from Mexico City.
Do they have a lot of textiles type of places in Mexico?
Oh yeah, and especially where I'm from. I mean, we have 1,300. I wouldn't call them sweatshops, but they're shops.
The economy is different, so it's sweatshop to us.
Over there, it's not child labor. That's my nephew, man. He's got to make these keychains. Keep pumping them out.
It ain't no child.
Well, I mean, you're mass producing things, so it's got to be in a shop. So, but everything, t-shirts, everything comes out of Mexico. Okay.
Mexico. Yeah.
So you go out there. How often you go out there?
Bro, I'm out there like every 10 days, 15 days, a month. I mean, I don't feel right.
They get, well, of course.
Is it your shops out there? Or
my uncle, family.
Oh, okay, yes, good.
Yeah, I got to keep it. I always got to keep the money.
Did you open those shops out there?
No.
Oh, okay.
They were already in business. I mean, that whole area is a textile industry. So all I did was, okay, you could do that, so why can't we do this for, like my uncle, he mass produces soccer jerseys. So I just started converting them over to boxing, Yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome.
Relationships, and man, it's so important, man, to get something off the ground and keep it moving, because one thing I noticed about Pueblo from when I first came around to now, the variety of, like I'm saying, the variety of different things you did, the jackets, the different t-shirts and all those things.
Patches, magnets, I mean.
And it looks like, and it looks from the outside looking in, I don't know your business, but I'm like, man, this dude's
you doing this
doing
full
his thing.
Right?
Yeah, full time.
Whatever.
Nah, I've never had really a job. I mean, at 20 years old, I'm on my own. I'm doing my own thing.
Now you have the gym in
Wichita Falls.
I
have. So people always.
Texas, because I thought Wichita.
I did too when he first told me that. I'm like, Wichita, wow, ain't that like out of state?
Yeah.
It's a part of. It's in Texas.
It's in Texas.
Yeah. People say, well, how many gyms do you have? Me personally, I have one gym. That's all I have.
Do you franchise them?
No, these other gyms, they're all sponsored. So, like in Mexico, we have 10 now. And what I did was I just worked with the city that they already have a gym. We go in there, and usually they have like 3 or 4 punching bags.
So you supply
it, convert it over to Pueblo. Now it's a distribution point where the members that go into that say, hey, I need a T-shirt. Hey, I need some hand wraps.
And it fills a need.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it ain't like you're just trying to get your name. No. Every boxing gym needs supplies, and everything's wore out. It's like you said earlier, there's no money in it, man. So I'm sure they appreciate the hell out of you. Somebody coming in there and
it trips them out. Like I went to El Salvador and I put one down there, and I tied that up in about 2 weeks. I just started looking for people in El Salvador, hashtags and all this. I made some phone calls. I told them what I wanted to do, and they're like, "You just gonna come give us this stuff?" And
they want you to show and prove. So you pop up.
Oh no, I didn't have to, because I've already been to Cuba. I already went to Colombia. I just sent them the videos.
You got a track record.
Yeah, I got a track record. You can call these people up. They can tell you what I do. So
nice.
We got the WBC president who put in a good word and show support for what we're doing. And so that automatically opens a lot of doors.
So Pueblo as a brand and involved in boxing, okay, that's done. Mm-hmm. You're involved in boxing. Sure, you want to be involved more and more. Mm-hmm. But what's your goal, brother? Or I'm sure you're gonna always have goals. But what's your main? What are you trying to do? Because earlier you was like, man, I wasn't trying to even put out champions. I was just trying to give kids a place to fight.
Right.
Is the goal to be a community
Same goal from day one. Day one was simply make a positive impact, you know, and now it's grown where I understand they don't even have to be under this brand. So what I'm doing is I got this website that I'm working on, and basically I'm putting all my mistakes and conversations when I have with coaches, things that I've learned, putting it all on a website like a resource where people can just go and pull, like they say, well, how'd you get this sponsor? So I'm tired of explaining this. So I'm just going to put a PDF. You could change out the words, put your gym name on it, because if it's just about having Pueblo gyms, man, it's going to take me a long time to do the impact that I want to do. So if
that ain't your goal,
no,
right. So that ain't your goal.
So I was like, so why don't I just, you know, you don't even got to tell me you went on there and got it.
Is this website live?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm working on, putting all these different resources on it. And so this way, I still make that positive impact on a massive scale where people can, because there's a lot of little assistant coaches that are thinking about going to go open a gym. Wait before you do that. You know, you got to understand this. Oh, I'm going to throw a show every month. No, you're not, because people are not going to come to your show every month, you know. These are all things that I've already worked out and other gyms have already worked out. We've already gone through these mistakes. So we can put those out there and make it clear so they don't have to do those same mistakes. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the way I'm going to make a massive impact. Besides of what I'm going to continue doing. By me living this lifestyle that I live, 2-bedroom home, you know, used cars, I don't have this insatiable appetite that I got to feed.
More.
Yeah, so I could put a gym in Mexico for $2,000. Top to bottom, everything. Banners, everything. You know, because they already have the location. The city provides that. I just go in there with my equipment for $2,000, and I'm gonna have hundreds of kids going through that system, going through that gym, benefiting from it. So I have to calculate. You know, people say, "Will you sponsor this fighter?" I'm like, well, you know, that 250. You know what I could do with 250 in a country that really needs some support? Because you just asking for some extra money. Man, go to the barbershop, go to the dry cleaners you go to and get that little 250. You take 250 from my pocket, you're hurting a lot of people, because that 250, I could buy 5 punching bags. I can make 5 punching bags that are going to last 10 years, and countless of people are going to be hitting on those. So I have to be very wise on how I move those sponsorships around. You know.
You know, one of the things you said was, you know, what your goal is to have an impact, right?
That's it.
And that's the front side of it, right? Because this is something that I was been thinking about. You know, what are my goals? Because sometimes you have all the shit that's going on, you lose focus, right? And so you have to come back and say, okay, what is it that I'm really trying to do? That way, the bullshit clears. Well, that's not important. That's not important, because it's not going to get me to where I'm at. And so I have the same thought. I'm like, man, you know, that's my goal, is to have an impact, you know, in other people's lives, whether it's the food, the gym, the podcast, whatever else that I'm doing. But then there's the backside. We have to be in a position where we can do that. Right. And that's the burden that people don't see is, yes, that's our goal, have an impact. But if we're not in a position to do that, we can't fucking do that. So that's the back end of the thing. It's like, fuck, okay.
You gotta have gas in there.
Yeah, well, you gotta have, you know, you gotta be able to maneuver those things.
Well, see, but one of the things is the way you can be able to do that is simply understand what makes you happy. See, I knew that I didn't need an escalator.
Right, and that's where I was getting to, is living. It goes back to living below your means.
Yeah. Well, it's not even below, because I could jump on a plane at any moment that I want and say, I'm going here, I'm going there, and I do it. Yeah. You know, and that's that. But I'm gonna go with the purpose. Yeah. You know, I'm not going. They go, oh, you're going on vacation.
Yeah, it's not below your means. Yeah. If
that's the thing.
Your standards. If it's your standards.
Yeah.
Then it's not below your means.
Yeah.
If you take me, and I know what you're saying, man, and hold your thought, because I didn't mean to cut you off. You know me for a couple years now, personally, and I don't give a fuck about impressing you. Matter of fact, I think I'm the shit. With the raggedest car, with the raggedest, as long as my wife is happy,
Yeah.
That's the only burden I put on myself. But you know, I think I'm the shit for what I know in my experience and what I do. Not because, oh man, D got this, he got that. And I know people say that, but they don't mean, dude, I lived that. You know, I've been in positions in my life that led to trouble. Where I was making the most monetary money, and was miserable because it conflicted with who I was. And you know what? I had to let all that shit go. And because I was never ego driven in that way, you know, it was just with boxing. I'm gonna show you what I know and what my family knew and where our boxing come from what happens in this ring and what happens, right? Not because of nothing else. I'm gonna show you who I am because if you come to Derek and say something, you say Derek, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. This is between me and you or whatever. You're never gonna hear it from nobody else. I'm gonna know that you know that I'm fine. This guy knows why I think I'm the shit, not because of nothing, none of that. So, man, I think that's very important, bro. When you, it ain't below your means because if you pull up and you think I better go spend all this in a car or in a house or whatever to show people I'm successful, man, we got some shit to work out personally. Right? You got to work some shit out personally because, bro, my father was a big man, but he was a criminal. He was, you know, he 27 years, bro, 3 different times, added up to 27 years. You know, he said, son, I knew when I walked in the room I could whoop every motherfucker in there. He would say 5 drill and 5. He said, but I wasn't impressed by what they had because I just take it from them. Fuck you gonna do about it? Now, as a young kid, you hear that and you go, yeah, I'm supposed to fall out of it. Now, I want you to be successful. I want you to be happy. I want you to know these things. But, bro, if that defines you, watch how quick just me and I'm nobody can take that from you. Then what? So you better find something in your own self. And so that's why I feel the way I am. That's why when I walk in, I'm comfortable. I feel safe. I don't worry about it. And I look around, I scan, and I see, he's intimidated. He's trying to pretend he ain't. This guy is this, and this guy is that, and this guy is this. And you take Juan for it, I ain't blowing smoke up his ass because I have no need. But pulling up tells you my business. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is why I'm happy. This is why I'm going. All right, nice to meet you. I'm out of here. I think that's very important in life to be not satisfied. Satisfied ain't the right word, but what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm in tune.
In tune.
In tune with what makes me happy. And I understand, hey, if that Escalade makes you happy,
right,
it's all good.
I'm not knocking success.
No, absolutely not.
If you want, Manny told me that. He said one time, I'm pretty sure you say, Coach, what you against success? No, that ain't what I'm, look, dude, I'm just not a car guy or this kind of guy, but I'm this kind of guy. Right. So this kind of, I want this to success to the mountain. Yeah. Ain't nobody against money. I'm sure you're a capitalist. If you ain't, you sure act like a capitalist. So, but you know what? And I try to tell people that for the little bit I know. Listen, you want to help people, be a capitalist, bro. You ought to understand goods and services and try to be successful so you can help people, man. But you know, why y'all want to spread this $20, then none of us can't eat. Right. But yeah, man, I think that's what I see with people, and I look around and man, everybody likes to be seen and be appreciated.
Of course.
But, and I say this a lot, what's your parameters, man? Tell me your parameters. If I know your parameters, then I can understand you and say this is a good guy, it's a bad guy. Because if you don't have any parameters, what won't you do? Right. What will you do? That's important, man. That's important, man. Because otherwise shit gnaws at your soul, bro. And then all of a sudden if you don't attain things, then you think you don't count. Well, that's a problem. Right. That's a problem, man. I like a guy to come in here and I do it through my own little way with these fighters. I don't care if they're 10 years old or 30. All you want, son, for real, is what them size 11 stand on. That's it. Now, you better have some parameters that you'll stand on. Otherwise, you don't really count, man. And then once guys figure that out, then they can draw that line in the sand and say, you can't come across that line, bro. Not without repercussions. Now, you might get me, but when I get back, dust myself off, I'm gonna draw that same line in the sand, right? And that's what I think we gotta check that ego for that.
Yeah.
And not that you shouldn't have
Success.
success. You know, honor's a good thing. Pride is a sin. Honor's a good thing, right?